All right, so let me go ahead and close that. And today I'm downstairs on my laptop just because I am, just because my wife is out taking the car to get its maintenance done. So I'm here. So if I get interrupted by a kid, it's because I'm the only parent at home. He's busy watching Steven Universe at the moment, so I'm sure he'll be fine. Okay, so I went through yesterday and did a bunch of the adjusted a bunch of the due dates for to make them more reasonable or more accurate. So, and then there's a bunch where I just simply remove the due dates because I have to put them in. Yes, and I have to fix this one. So, and if you feel ambitious, you are more than welcome to like speed ahead. All right. So first off, the Fox and Rabbit assignment and the object-oriented quiz are due on the 25th, which is Saturday. If you need more time for some reason, please let me know. And again, you don't have to have it demoed by then. You can submit it, and then the way you're getting your grade works and the late penalty works is that the late penalty is based on when you submit it, not when you demo it. So you can submit it and then you can demo it later. Okay. So, or demo it when you get the chance to. Okay, next. The next module is going to be Arraylist Exercises. And that will be due Monday, but we will have class Monday. So Arraylist Exercises and the following one after that, which is Big O Exercises, unfortunately, they're not too exciting. I've done a number of exciting assignments, but these unfortunately aren't that exciting. Sorry. Arraylist exercises are a bunch of, we will have there's a few make work assignments in there. Basically, there's like, I think 5 or 6 problems. One of which I will be going over and give, I want you to attempt first, but on Monday, I will give you the answer to it. Okay. So let me open it up. Now, you probably covered array lists with, so actually, this is a good point for you to chime in. Did you all, so what did Professor Fiore cover in 1068? Did he cover, I was speaking with him yesterday, so I just want to double check. He covered, he talked about how to use array lists, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he did. And if you don't remember, because it's been a couple weeks, don't worry. I go into this assuming you don't know anything about array lists, but I do want to bring that up just simply so I can go over the differences. And did he cover inheritance and polymorphism and the like?
Oh yeah.
Okay, great. So, so we'll be working with, as I mentioned, array lists. And as I mentioned, I go into a bit more depth here. So the 2 big differences is that you're going to have to understand how array lists work internally to solve at least one of these problems. And the second is I do generics, which I cover in our videos. So, but if you need help working with generics, I'll be more than happy to get you set up. And I have a small disclaimer on how to use them. They look a lot more complicated than they are. But let me emphasize that the reason they exist is to make your life easier. You don't have to make, the point of them is that you don't have to make one one method to deal with what if my list is taking in an int? What if the list is doubles? What if the list is arrays, right? You don't have to do what's called boilerplating, which had been one of the big criticisms of the Google Go language. I think it supports generics now, but that had been one of the things when I looked at using it that was a big frustrating. It didn't support generics. So these are basically the same kind of assignments you would do if you were the kind of exercises you'd be doing if you were working over on arrays. Okay. So basically saying, hey, here's a list. So again, this takes in a list, and a list is the interface for that gets implemented by two different classes in Java. It's lists have array lists, which is what we're working on with right now, which are basically lists that are built on top of arrays, and linked lists, which are lists that are built basically by creating a giant scavenger hunt. So uniqueness basically says, hey, given the thing, this list, give me, tell me if all the items in there are unique or not. Are all the things in this multiples of a number? Are all these things of the same size? Give me all the things of the, give me all the numbers in here that are multiples of a number. Give me all the strings in here that are of a certain size. Is permutation is the one we will do in class. I will probably tackle it on Monday. And then string to list of words. That one, it's good. And it's also an incentive for you to go ahead and learn regular expressions. There's some extra credit available there. And then remove all instances. That's the one that is deliberately meant to trip you up. You want to, where basically you're given a list and something to remove from the list, and you want to remove all those things from the list. So here I've got an input and I want to remove all the 5s from the list. And for that one, you got to think about, if you're having issues with that one, think about how they work internally. So it's not too bad. And if you get stuck, please just, let me know so I can help you get unstuck, because that's what I'm here for. Again, this class is designed so that you get to work on this stuff and you don't have to listen to me drone on for 4 hours straight, because that would be terrible. I don't think I could stand myself for 4 hours. Now we've quickly have an assignment due after that, which is the big O exercises. Now that is closer to a math assignment. And if you've been doing your math, now I know that math concepts is a prerequisite. So everybody's familiar, has everybody had at least a cursory introduction to big O notation? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Again, no is fine, because here I am assuming that maybe you haven't programmed in a while, or, or you didn't really understand it as well as you should have. It's fine. But the good news is that this class is not going to, we're really not going to, go over something you've already learned. Big O notation is something you've learned, but what I care about here is more of a layman's interpretation, basically a rule of thumb kind of thing. So we're not going to be basically taking limits or anything. We're just kind of using our brains here. This is the closest we're going to get, where we're taking T of n's, and I'm just trying to here emphasize that the biggest factor is the only one. Sorry, the biggest exponent is the one that dominates. And basically, I'm asking you what our operations for our data structures are going to be. Typically, when we are dealing with our data structures for the first couple modules, we will be dealing with things that are only constant time, linear time, or quadratic time. So constant 1, O of 1, O of n, and O of n squared. Finally, the reason I bring this up is because for lab 2, you write these, you create these functions, right? In lab 3, you're going to analyze what you just wrote. And here, there's a puzzle for this that you're going to analyze for there. And then finally, linked lists will be, I think July 5th will be the due date for that. There's 2 different assignments. You choose, you don't have to do both. You choose one of them, and I'll reiterate that later on. Our first exam will probably be, it would normally be July 4th, but we don't have school that day. So probably July 5th. July 5th or July 6th, depending on how, sorry, July 5th or July 7th, depending on how things fall out and how ready people feel. Okay, and that will cover up through linked lists. All right. Any questions before we before we start, taking demos or split you up into breakout rooms? Or any questions about the homework that you feel like other people would appreciate knowing the answers for?
I would like to ask, which videos should we watch before the lecture, and like how many, or is there a schedule?
It's a good question. So let me share my screen again. Let's see. What? Sorry, share screen. There we go. So you can see the module list. The due dates are a pretty good thing to have an idea for. So I would say the Arraylists, we're going to start working on that. So if you haven't had the chance, watch the Arraylist videos. The Arraylist, all the videos can be found under the modules and under this, and they're in a big playlist. You definitely want, for this one, I would say have the Big O videos watched by Monday, and the link list probably by like Tuesday, if that's possible. But again, it's summer, so if you feel like we're going too fast, please let me know.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? All right, I'm going to stop sharing so that